He came home smelling like her perfume. So I followed him the next day. He came home late again that night, just past midnight. His tie was loosened, hair messy, and he looked exhausted, or at least he wanted me to think so. I asked if he had eaten, and he said yes, quickly brushing past me to the shower. But when he hugged me goodnight, I smelled it. That perfume. Sweet, floral, and unfamiliar. It wasn't mine. And I knew every scent I ever wore. I couldn't sleep that night. My heart was racing, my stomach twisting with dread and denial. You're just being paranoid, I whispered to myself. He's tired. He's stressed. But deep down, I knew something was off. We'd been married for 6 years, and I could read every tiny change in him, every lie hiding behind a half smile. The next morning, he acted normal. Too normal. He kissed my forehead, told me he'd be working late again, and left with his briefcase. My hands were trembling as I watched his car drive away. Something in me snapped. I grabbed my coat, took my car keys, and decided if there was nothing to hide, then I'd have nothing to find. But I had to know. I followed him. My heart was pounding so hard I could feel it in my throat. He didn't go to the office. He didn't even drive in that direction. Instead, he took a turn toward the city park, a route that led nowhere near his workplace. I stayed a few cars behind, praying he wouldn't notice me. Then I saw him pull into a small cafe, one we used to go to when we were dating. My breath caught. And then I saw her. A woman in a red coat, waiting by the window. She smiled when she saw him. He smiled back. The same smile that used to be mine. I parked farther down the street and sat there frozen, watching through the windshield. They talked for a while, laughing, leaning closer, his hand brushing hers on the table. I couldn't hear them, but I didn't need to. My heart heard everything. I waited for 2 hours. They left together. He opened the door for her. She touched his arm, so casually, so confidently, like she'd done it 100 times before. He didn't flinch. He didn't pull away. Tears blurred my vision, but I followed them again. They stopped outside an apartment building. She went inside first. Then he followed. My fingers tightened on the steering wheel until my knuckles went white. Every instinct told me to go home, to pretend I didn't see any of this, but I couldn't. I waited another 20 minutes before walking toward the building. I didn't plan to confront him, not yet. I just wanted to be sure. I checked the mailboxes by the door. Her name was written on one of them, Clara Peterson. I didn't know her, but suddenly her name burned into my memory like a scar. When he finally came home that night, I said nothing. He kissed my cheek, said he was exhausted, and went straight to bed. I stared at him sleeping, trying to understand why. Why risk everything? Why her? The next day, I went to that cafe again alone this time. I needed to know who she was. The waitress recognized her right away. Oh, Clara? She comes here every week, she said casually. She's a real estate agent. Sweet woman. Always with that same guy. That same guy. My husband. I thanked her, smiled, and walked out before she could see my tears. I sat in my car, shaking, trying to decide what to do. I could confront him. I could scream, throw his things out, call her husband if she had one, but something in me wanted him to reveal himself. So, I stayed silent. A week later, he said he'd be going out of town for a business trip. I smiled and nodded. But that night, I tracked his phone. He was right there in the city at the same address I'd seen before. The next morning, I packed his bags. Not for a trip, but for goodbye. When he came home, I didn't yell. I didn't cry. I simply handed him the suitcase and said, "You smell like her again." His face went pale. He didn't even try to deny it. Maybe he realized it was pointless. Maybe he knew I'd seen everything. He said, "It's not what you think," but his voice broke halfway through the sentence. I said, "You don't even know what I think anymore." He left that night. Clara could have him. I didn't want the version of him that needed to lie. A few weeks later, she called me. Yes, she called me. Said she didn't know he was married. Said she was sorry. I almost laughed. I told her she could keep him, and then I hung up. Now, months later, I still drive by that cafe sometimes. Not because I miss him, but because that's where I found my strength again. That's where I stopped begging for honesty and started demanding peace. He came home smelling like her perfume once. That scent destroyed everything. But it also set me free.